Welcome back, Casual Cooks. Today, we're celebrating St. Patty's Day, casual culinary style. We're gonna make 3 great meals, all part of one fantastic celebration. We're gonna do Reuben Sliders, we're gonna make some quick Irish Nachos, and we're gonna end with an impress for less dessert. Come along, this meal is gonna be magically delicious. First thing we need to do is get that oven up to 350 degrees before we start making the Reuben sliders. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. The oven is at 350 degrees. We're gonna get the sliders going. We did an earlier episode where we did some sliders for Super Bowl. I believe those were really good, but it's still the same method as we used before. We're just kind of changing things up with what's going in the sliders. You can do almost anything for these types of sandwiches. So you can use a 9x13 casserole dish, or I just like to use the tin. The tin is easy, it's disposable. You'll get rid of it when you're done. So these Hawaiian rolls are already all together as one unit, but then we're going to slice them right down the middle horizontally. All right, a little extra for the chef. So Thousand Island, we got some corned beef, thick cut, and then I've got some Swiss cheese and some sauerkraut. So that's what's going in our Reuben for today. I am going to put the bottom of the rolls in the tin already. We're going to put some Thousand Island on the bottom to make sure this stays nice and moist. We're also going to potentially use some of that Thousand Island to make a sauce that you can dip it in. So this is going to be plenty of opportunity to get some flavor. Remember, we are all about turning up the flavor and turning down the stress. I'm just going to go ahead and spread that out. I'm going to put 2 layers of Swiss cheese. I got 2 because I didn't know if I'd use all of it. We just want the cheese. Let me move that so you guys can see, to cover the layer. This is going to melt and get so gooey and yummy. I'm going to put that over there. So it looks like it takes about 6 slices, so I will use 2 packages of it. So as you can see, it's laid down perfectly. Now we're going to put down some of this thick cut corned beef that I got. So as you can see, it's pretty big. You can slice it thinner if you want to do deli. You can do it deli for that camera. I'll do it so you can see the thickness. I think this is what they call the dinner size roast, but you can just lay this, I'm blocking the camera. You can just lay this right over, and you might need a couple of these things to overlap. So we'll put both of them over here. It's got pretty good coverage, but let's take another one just to make sure. Then you can either cut it or you can just rip it to what you want. I just want to make sure I get meat on all of the parts of the dinner rolls. So here's what it looks like after I've put down the corned beef. I just got one thing of the sauerkraut. So we're going to open that up. You need to drain the sauerkraut. I have just one of these little sieves that you can use, and I'm just going to put some of it in there. So I'm going to do that over here, and then I'll be right back. So I've drained some of the sauerkraut, and I'm just going to layer that over the corned beef. If you're not a sauerkraut fan, you could probably use some grilled onions or maybe just some regular white onions. They don't even have to be grilled. They could just be raw. But whatever floats your boat, I'm trying to make it as much as authentic as I've had on a Reuben before. So as you can see, we've covered up the corned beef with the sauerkraut. And now we're just going to put on one top layer of Swiss cheese. So it's going to be really cheesy, which is fine by me. Perfect. And then we're going to put that top layer of the Hawaiian rolls back on the top. And the oven is ready. We're going to put it in at 350 for about 15 to 18 minutes, but we're going to loosely cover it with tin foil. And then after that's up, we're going to put a nice buttery sauce right on the top that's going to give this extra browning and add a bunch more flavor. And we'll put that in at 350. While the sliders are in the oven, gives us a little pocket of time. So I'm going to make kind of that spread that we can put on top of the rolls. So I'm just going to take a little bit of butter, probably maybe 4 tablespoons of butter in there. And I'm going to throw that in the microwave so it gets nice and melty. So that was 13 seconds. So I'm going to put a little bit of Dijon. I'll put the amounts in the description, but probably like maybe half, maybe a teaspoon. You got to measure it the way you want it. A little Worcestershire in there. Probably, again, maybe a half of a teaspoon. And I'm going to put a little either garlic powder or granulated garlic. Probably about maybe half of a teaspoon. And then some granulated onion. Put about the same amount, about half of a teaspoon. If I can get that poured into my palm. And that's it. That's going to make what we're going to put right on top to get those buns nice and brown and crispy and add some flavor. All right, so that is good. And we're just waiting for the rolls to finish up in about another 8 minutes before we put that spread on. 8 minutes is up. We are going to take out the rolls and put on the buttery sauce on top. Take off the aluminum foil. I'm just going to bring this over and let's take a quick peek at where it's at. We can slide that off. And oof, already smells really, really good. So we're just going to mix that buttery spread again. We got butter, we got Worcestershire sauce, we got onion powder, granulated garlic in there. We've got some Worcestershire sauce. We got a little bit of Dijon mustard. We're just going to put it right over the top. So we will slide this back into the oven. And we're going to leave it uncovered for about another 8 minutes. You could do 8 to 10. I'm just going to do about 8. And while that 8 minutes is going on, I'm going to make a really yummy sauce that we can actually dip the Reuben into. You're going to like it. While we're waiting for those to get nice and warm and toasty on the top, I'm going to make a little dipping sauce that's really easy. You don't have to do this. I just think this is going to go over the top and make it really, really good. We're going to add about a half a cup of the Thousand Island. And we're going to add about 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And then we're going to add about 1 teaspoon of just the pickle juice. If you're not a big pickle fan, don't add the pickle juice. So I'm just going to dip that in there. I'm using bread and butter pickles, so I'm going to add that in. And we're going to mix that up. And this is it for the sauce. If you wanted it spicy, you could add a little sriracha in there or a little hot sauce. But for me, I like it to be just perfect, like kind of like a sauce that you would make for In-N-Out, like they might have, but you're putting a little more mustard in it in the sense that because mustard goes really well with corned beef. So there's the consistency. And let's give this a little try. Spot on. This is really going to be good. So we've only got a few minutes left for those sliders, and then we'll bring that together. Be back in a sec. The 8 minutes is up, so let's take out the sliders and see how they turned out. Oh, yes. Oh, this is perfect. In fact, I'm going to take this knife just so you guys can hear. That's nice and crispy on the top, but inside it's going to be just perfectly soft. Ah, this is going to be so great. The hardest part is how do we get these things out? So I'm just going to take a small knife. I'm just going to cut down. Make sure it's completely separated. All right. And I'm going to try to take a spatula to get this out, but let's see if I can do this successfully. Okay, I'm taking this one out. I've pretty much ruined this one just trying to get it out because it was hard and the bottom is actually kind of disappearing on me. So let me see if I can Get that out. There it is. All right. Let's give it a try. This is a great Reuben. I'm getting a lot of the cream from the Thousand Island, but I'm going to dip it in my sauce for that second bite. The corned beef, I just bought from the store. So I didn't have to make anything myself. Really easy. The Swiss cheese, very quick, easy. And the store-bought Hawaiian roll. So this is extremely casual for the slider. So let me go in, get that second bite. I'm just going to dip that right in that sauce. Again, the sauce was just Dijon and some Thousand Island, a little Worcestershire in there. Already better. Perfect bite. These things are so easy to make. So this is great, but I'm going to move on to the quick Irish nachos. Next up, we're making some quick Irish nachos. And I don't have time to worry about peeling a potato and baking them all day long. So I took the quick route. I just went to the grocery store and picked up some steak cut fries that were already good and heated. So these need to be reheated because they've been sitting out for a little bit. But if you want, you can go to the frozen section and just get some frozen fries and put those in your oven as well. Or if they're already still piping hot, it's just a quick cheat. I'm all about taking shortcuts, casual culinary. So I'm going to put this in another one of our quick tins. I love these things. They're disposable. They're easy to use. And when you're done, you just throw it away. So I'm going to spread those fries out in a nice even layer. For this, we're going to put it in the oven for just a little bit just to get this warm. But we're also going to put some cheese on there. And we want the cheese melted. But I'm afraid that the cheese might melt faster than the fries get done. So I'm going to put the fries in just for about maybe 5 to 10 minutes to get them warm and crispy. Then I'm going to put the cheese on top again and melt it just a little bit more for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then it's putting on your toppings of choice. For me, I like some sour cream. I like some chives. But you can put whatever else you want on it. Maybe even some bacon. Bacon sounds really good. So I'll put these in. I still have my oven hot at the 350 from doing the sliders. I'm going to put those in. And we're going to get those going again, probably about 5 minutes. I'll see you right back here. The fries have been in the oven for about 5 minutes, so we're going to take those out and add some cheese on there. So I'll take that out. They should be getting a little crispy and warmer as they are. So I'm just going to put cheddar cheese on here. I like more cheese than not. So I'm going to put a ton of cheese over all of it. And it's going to get nice and melty. Get some extra cheese, covering it in there. Now I'm going to be putting some bacon crumbles on, and I could use, these are already pre-cooked, so you could put them on after it's done. I want to get a couple of them nice and crispy because this did come out of the fridge so that they don't go bad. So I'm going to put some of those over the top. Not a ton, but just enough to get nice and melted, get some of that grease out of that bacon, make these even better. And then I'll still put a little bit of some on the top for some decoration and still some added flavor so it looks even better. So we're going to put this in just enough to melt the cheese. You could probably flip it to broil and get that done in about 2 minutes, but I'm going to wait maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Again, I'll put a recipe down in the description that explains this. So we'll see you again in about 3 minutes. 3 minutes is up. Let's take out the fries and see if we've got that cheese melted, that bacon nice and crispy. Oh, yes. Take a look at that. So you could either serve this right in the tin if you're serving for a group of people or put it on a plate. I'm going to do a little bit of both. So I'm making a plate for myself. So I have my slider there. I'm going to put a little of this over here on the plate for me to get later and maybe take my bite out of. All right. Yeah, a little bit more. Oh my God. Look at this cheese, guys. Oh, so good. Oh my gosh. I like a little sour cream. And I like chives and green onions on mine. So I have some green onions and just a little bit of chives. We're going to cut off the white part of the green onion, and we're just going to thinly slice that bright green part. You can go as far as you want, but it starts getting a little less onion as you go towards the dark green. So I'm going to get some of that, and then I'm going to also take these chives and just cut through those. Watch those fingers. And all right, even though there's already bacon on my Irish nachos, I'm going to put a little bit more for the garnish so that people know what's in it if you're serving it. I'm going to put a little bit of bacon on the top. And I'm going to sprinkle some of those chives right over the top. Oh, this is so good. And depending on how much onion you want, I like oniony flavors. Chives are also kind of that oniony flavor, but adding a little bit of green makes it pop. And plus, it's for St. Patty's Day. There's got to be green. So we're going to add some green to this dish. Perfect. And let me try a little bite of this. Oh, this is going to be so good. So I'm going to get one of these bites with everything on it. I've got a little bit of the green onion and bacon. The fries could be a little bit crispier because that cheese gets on there. It gets a little bit more melty. But for such a quick, easy, quick nachos or quick Irish nachos recipe, that is simple. Takes only a few minutes. We put it in the oven for a total of maybe 8-10 minutes max. Perfect. Well on our way to a nice celebration of St. Patrick's Day. We have one thing left, and that is an impress for less Irish dessert. For the last thing we're doing, we are doing an impress for less dessert. If you haven't checked out the impress for less, so far I've only done one episode of it where I took a potato salad from Trader Joe's and just added some homemade ingredients to make it seem like it was homemade and more impressive than it really was. I'm doing the same thing with this. I am really bad at baking. I don't like baking. I don't even like making desserts. They taste good, but I'm just not a baker and I'm not good with the sweet tooth as far as how to do it. So I went and basically just got some store-bought brownies, and we're just going to do the impress for less. We're going to make each of these brownies seem like they could be homemade in a special style. And I'm just going to play around. We have 4 different ones. So the first one I'm going to do, let me put that in front of the camera, is I just went and got some green cookie icing. Now, it's not going to be mint flavored. It's just going to be a brownie with some green stuff on it. That's it. So we'll try my art skills at drawing a little bit of a 4-leaf clover or maybe a 3-leaf clover since I'm not that good at drawing. And let's see if we can do this. So I'm going to make the little bottom of the clover, and then it's going to go out, and 1 leaf, 2 leaf, 3 leaf, and coming back. That looks horrible. So let's see if I can clean this up a little bit. I told you guys this is not my forte, but let's see if we can kind of fill this in. And I may not know too much about baking, but I do see a lot of people do this. We're going to take a little toothpick, just kind of fill it out to where it hits the lines. All right, that looks like really bad. So we'll see if I can add a little bit of decoration onto the end here and make it into a 4-leaf clover. All right, we'll turn it around. That's what it would look like for the camera. Looks like a green blob, but that's only one. We have 4 that we can play with. So I'll leave this one over here. let's try another one. Another one, what we could do, let's see. I brought a bunch of stuff today to try giving this a shot. So I'm going to use just whipped cream cheese. Already comes pre-done frosting. But this one, we're going to turn it green and we're going to make it minty. A little bit of this is going to go right in here. I'm going to add some peppermint extract I got in the baking aisle. It's next to the vanilla extract. So we'll add a little bit of that. It's more for the flavor than the color. Oh yeah, that's minty. In fact, I don't trust myself to just pour this in here. So I'm going to actually take out a measuring cup and do less than I think. I'm going to do 1/8 of a teaspoon and pour it in there and just dump that in. If I need more, I can always add more. But if once you add too much, you can't take it out. And then I do have some green food coloring. So I'm going to put a couple of things in there. I don't know if I have to take this part off. Oh, no, it came out easy. Let's mix that up. Wow. Mm. That is about the right amount. Put a little of this down. Now, if you're really into decoration, you could probably put this into like a piping bag and make it look all really nice. I'm not looking to do something like that. I just kind of want to thin it out, spread it out, and then I can either put chocolate sprinkles or like a chocolate sauce over it. So I'm already just kind of covering what the store-bought brownie already has. But this is going to add that mint flavoring and add that green color that we're looking for on the holiday. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not worried about perfect. If you're looking for perfection, you're at the wrong channel. We're just about doing it casually and adding some flavor without all of the extra stress. So it's good. So we have the base. For this one, I'm going to add some sprinkles. So I got some chocolate sprinkles and we sprinkle away. Oh, I can actually smell the mint from here and it's not too much. It's perfect. This is super good. All right, so there's our second one. So we have our clover, we have our chocolate sprinkles. We have two more options. I'm going to do another one just like that one, but instead of the sprinkles, I'm going to put a little bit of chocolate sauce on the top. So I'll put a little bit more of our whipped cream topping. And nobody will know that you didn't make these. It'll seem like this was just perfectly done. You could tell them you spent hours doing it. They'll be super impressed. But we just bought literally some store-bought brownies and are making it look a little better than what they did. And I'm just going to make a couple lines on here. So we'll put that one there, that one there, and this one here. And we still have one more brownie. I'm going to grab the green icing. So you can see they have some chocolate chips and they got a little bit of chocolate drizzle over the top. So this one, let's just add a little bit of green drizzle over the top. And all people need to know is that you tried. That's really what they're going for that. So there you go. And this is the one that I'm going to try. It's a brownie, but it's good. And adding the green adds a little bit of festive holiday for St. Patrick's Day. I hope you got some ideas from what we made today. This was Casual Culinary Take on a St. Patrick's Day celebration. So we started off with those excellent sliders, those Reuben sliders that were fantastic. We tried some of those quick Irish nachos and impressed for less with a quick, easy brownie dessert. I hope to see you soon. Please leave me a comment and message. If you haven't, I really ask that you would like it and subscribe to the channel so that you can get more good ideas going forward. Until I see you next time, remember, keep it casual. We're going to put some of the sauerkraut. They make this canned. They make this in smaller amounts. My fingers are totally wet right now. Ugh, I can't do it. I need help. I'm a weak leprechaun today. Still can't do it. There it is. Okay, there it is. Hi, Tiny. You're making it in the shot. It's at 360 degrees. Okay then. God, boys. Okay. I need a napkin.